Everybody, American Gods, Season 1, next to last episode, Episode 7, A Prayer for Mad Sweeney, Tim, Meredith, Alonso. First, a shout out to Fanula Flanagan, one of my favorite actresses, knocking it out of the park as the grandmother and then as older Essie. Yeah, you were asking beforehand if does this count as a bottle episode? And I want to say yes.
It's very self-contained, but it goes to many places and follows a few different characters. Yeah, so I'm not really sure about the semantics of what
there's a little bit of the whole season plot being moved ahead, but mostly it is kind of a sidebar. Yeah.
But yeah, again, no Shadow, no Wednesday.
No other gods.
No, yeah. but we learn a lot about what's happening here. Plot-wise, I think the big thing we learn is that Sweeney caused Laura's car accident in the first place that killed her.
As he was told to.
Right, which means that when the whole Wednesday Shadow meeting was no accident, that this was all meant to be all along, that Shadow is clearly being strung along by forces he doesn't yet get, and neither do we. But let's talk about what this episode was actually about, which was the tale of Essie McGowan. It reminded me that I think the thing I like most about this show maybe is the little stories of how the gods came to America. So like, you want to make it a whole episode of one? Yeah. Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice long payoff as to how Sweeney gets out here, but I'm like, I really dug Essie. I was like, I want a whole series about her. Like, and of course, like I'm a fan of like any period stuff. Like I've been watching Versailles and Harlots, but this was just like, I liked her. She was dynamic. She was like, hey, you know what? If they're gonna brand me a thief, I'm gonna become a thief, and I'm just gonna live my best life without any man telling me what to do.
Like that was the kind of story that could be an entire novel, but could also be like 3 pages in somebody else's book. And yeah, just this cool story of sort of resilience and moving on and survival. I thought was just fascinating.
And how it echoes, I guess, in what's going on presently between Sweeney and Laura, who is the same actress as Essie, and maybe we'll learn as to that why later, or maybe not. Has this cool redemptive quality for Sweeney, because we see him be a good guy. We see him torn between, giving people good fortune and bad fortune. We see how he kills Laura and is a pain in the ass to Laura, and then eventually saves Laura when he could have just walked away with the coin. And how ungrateful she is immediately. So I mean, like, he's a very compelling character now, all of a sudden.
Yeah. Totally, and I think what's also so cool here is that it touches on the sort of recurring thing about Laura not believing anything and Laura not having a belief system. And so this is an entire story about a woman who grew up believing in the sort of Irish folklore and living by that and trying to sort of respect it and do right by it, and importing it to America, which is what so much of the show is about people kind of bringing those beliefs over with them. I'm still an atheist, but I am interested in how this show deals with the notion of belief and faith and why it's important to people and why it's important to, obviously, to the deities that are being believed in. So in a way, this episode, it feels very much of a piece of everything else. It's not just sort of this kind of fun distraction. It does tie into a lot of the character stuff.
And something I absolutely love about this is that it does tackle the idea that the more people believe in something, the more true it becomes. Right. Even if there aren't gods really walking our streets right now, but look at America right now, there are a large group of people who believe in a very strict version of the Bible.
Sure.
And the more that they become present, the more that their laws start to overpower everyone. Though just as equally as it was Pride Weekend, and the more that we believe in equality and love, those ideas are starting to come through to the surface of our culture. And I think there's a strong message there that maybe they're making it a little bit too on the nose with the allegory and making walking gods, but I absolutely love it. And I think again, as an atheist, like I at least believe in the power of belief, that even if it's not real, if you believe something, it's going to be true.
Well, and you look at the whole discussion about fake news or whatever. Like what you can get people to believe in has become a very powerful thing. And I think one of what we've seen politically in this country for the last several decades is you can create an entire parallel universe with a parallel set of facts, and people will believe in it.
And the more people that believe in it, the stronger
the
that
truer it becomes. Yes.
I've been watching this happen on the internet for decades now, especially being part of like the convention and cosplay community and anime and video games. There are whole sectors on like Reddit or Tumblr where people just truly believe things, and it manifests in almost like real life ways to them, and they'll bring in cultures that just like reinforce that. It's fascinating to me to just watch the psychology behind this.
Yeah, no, so I think this show is really kind of in a very subtle way touching on this sort of larger idea of what do we believe, why do we believe it, and what do those beliefs make manifest. But yeah, I just this was, I thought, just an exquisitely told thing. We now know who's writing the story, whose calligraphy it is all along. But yeah, I mean, for a show that has been, kind of almost otherworldly for so much of it, where like you'll go from a very realistic situation to suddenly being in the back of this crazy limousine, or being attacked by hordes of identical weird soldiers, to have this rather handsomely mounted period piece, set entirely in the 18th century. It's kind of a cool switch on things, but again, I think very much in keeping with what the show's about and underscoring what the show is about.
Yeah, we finally got a one of the pre scenes unfolded the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't really nice. Just an aside.
Just a little prologue.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm so torn here because like the bits, the taste that I'm getting of what's happening here makes me really want to read the book, but I also can't read the book because I'm talking about the show and I want to be able to talk about the show as a thing unto itself. So
as someone that read the book, now granted it was a long time ago, like they occupy totally different spaces in my mind. I don't really see a whole lot of overlap other than the characters and what they're doing.
And isn't this like all this stuff with Laura and Sweeney? That's new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that makes me not want to read the book because that's the stuff I'm enjoying the most about the show.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let the show be the show, and then one day it will be done, and then I can read the book and take it on its own merits.
So we've only got one episode left.
Yes.
Which means we're not gonna see a war.
No.
But we have to see a meeting, right?
I think
we have to get to Wisconsin.
I think we're getting to a conclave of some point. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm told that there are more episodes next time around, but for next season.
Oh, because it got like a short order.
Yes, they got to pick up for more. I don't remember the number, but it's at least 10. If not more. So yeah, we're getting to a stopping point, but there's clearly going to be much more to come.
I'm not aware of the story arc that's going to be wrapped up next episode.
No.
I guess just the conclave happening. We've assembled all the pieces, and now we look at our completed chessboard and be like, season 2. Wow.
Yeah, I think the Church on the Rock is going to be that's our end point for now, and then it's whatever this universe's equivalent of a cliffhanger is, But I'm okay with that because we know it's coming.
Yeah, and I feel at least Laura and Sweeney are probably going to be off doing their own thing because they still have business in Kansas.
Or Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Do we know what that is?
Someone apparently who can resurrect her properly. But
right.
That's right.
Yeah. And we have to find out also if Salim finds the gin. So so many questions.
He's gonna crash this meeting.
Yeah.
Indeed. That could totally happen. All right, one to go. Join us for the season finale next week.